everybody. It's been a hot minute since I vlogged, and the timing of this vlog makes no sense, but I was ready to be back with the vlog. We are in my classroom. We're in a new location this year. My desk is right in front of my window. I'm drinking coffee out of my cat mug. I have my own classroom Keurig this year because my neighbor from last year, I would always go to her and to make coffee, but she has moved to a different hallway and I'm very sad about it. I just wanted to get back into the swing of vlogging, and whether or not the timing of this vlog really makes sense, it doesn't matter. So this vlog is going to be mostly themed around reading my in-person book club reads. So I have two of those. One of them I am reading on my Kindle, and I forgot to bring it with me today, so I'll put pictures of both of them up here. And one of them I'm going to be starting on audio because it's available on Everand. So the first book is for my teacher book club, and that is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I started this last night. I did not get very far into it. I basically read like the first 10 pages, which was the initial setup of the book. It seems to be more like of a literary thriller, which I read The Quiet Tenant last year and really enjoyed it, if it's in the same vein as that. It is a longer book, so I wanted to start it early. Our meeting isn't until late August, but with school starting back, and you guys know how fatigued I get from teaching sometimes, I thought it was a good idea to go ahead and start it. This book seems to be about a camper who goes missing at a summer camp. That's the setup that I've got so far. And then I haven't started Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone yet, but that is for just like my friend book club. Obviously, I'm back to school. This is the 7th day of school, and I'm loving my classes so far. So that is a good thing. We have done a couple different assignments already. They got their first grade yesterday, which was like this answer the questions and create this mandala thing with adding and subtracting integers. And then today we're doing one of my favorite assignments. It's just called The Distance Duck. I just love this assignment so much. So over here they have a bunch of questions that ask them about the distance between objects. Distance can be very confusing for students sometimes, but whatever answer they get tells them to draw a certain feature of a duck. And it's just one of my favorite assignments because they come out looking so kooky. And I'm gonna put these up for back to school night next week. Yes, I teach 7th grade. Yes, we still do some like creative, fun math assignments in here just because they're still kids and they still need to be artistic and let their creativity shine sometimes, even in math. I also wanted to show y'all I'm doing house points between my classes. So we have House Sage, House Amara, House Nova, and House Vigor. And the way I'm doing it is students can get points through like behavior or grades or like answering questions positively, but we keep track of all of the house points here. But during class, I have this remote and I have this scoreboard, and whenever I want to give them a point, I just go, and whenever I want to take away points, I just go, and then whatever it says at the end of. I'm about to give you guys, oh, I woke her up. I was about to give you guys a book update, but she's literally using me as a pillow. She feels so much better than she did last week, and it just like makes me cry from being happy. How about a reading update? So it's the next day, and I started listening to Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. Yeah, that's the name of the book. Last night when I was on sprints with Hannah and with Sam, we had a lot of fun. We got a little bit delirious and loopy there at the end. I started listening to it last night and I immediately liked it because the book is just very self-aware. The premise is that we're following our main character. His name is Ernie, and he is a writer, but not a fiction writer. He is a writer of how to write mystery books. He's also narrating this book to us. So like, I guess it is a factual account, but he does like admit that he changes names. And because he writes mystery books, he goes through all of these things like, here are the rules to writing a mystery book. I'm gonna break this rule. And then also this thing is going to happen in chapter 9, chapter 27, and chapter 48. Like, he kind of breaks the fourth wall frequently when talking to his audience. And I think that might drive some people crazy, but I find it really funny. And throughout the book, we are told the various ways that everybody in his family has killed somebody. It's very interesting. But also the whole family is gathering at this ski resort in Australia, which I don't really think of Australia as having ski resorts, but I guess they do. But they're all gathering there because the main character's brother is about to get out of prison and they're gonna have this little family reunion together. However, at this ski resort, someone has turned up dead and Ernie is trying to figure out what the heck happened and if his family, his very notorious family that accidentally kills people, is involved in this murder or not. And it is a very fast listen. It's hard to tell exactly where I actually am in the book because the audiobook chapters don't match the numbers of the chapters that we're saying out loud. So I'm at like chapter 47 of 65, but that doesn't match the chapters that I'm being told in the book. So I don't know where I am, but all that to say, like, I'm having just a really fun time with this book. Like I said, it's self-aware and it's kind of funny, but it's also a traditional mystery. So I'm having a good time. I haven't picked up my other book since last night, but what's about to happen is I'm gonna go to Kroger and pick up some frozen pizzas because our favorite pizzas are on a buy one get one sale, and we're gonna watch some drum corps tonight since our drum corps show got rained out when we tried to go. By our, I mean me and my best friend Brent. So I'm gonna go pick up those pizzas and he'll be over in a little while for us to watch drum corps, and who knows, I might even finish this book tonight. Also guys, this little baby was so sick last week and now she just wants to be with me. Like, I'm so happy. I say hello. Look how beautiful you are. You are a queen. Slay. The goods have been acquired. I was hoping they had the one that had the giant mozzarella slices on it, but they didn't, and that's okay. So I got the Mother of Meat, which just is like a meat lover's pizza. And then the Holy Pepperoni pizza, and I have some mushrooms in the fridge, so I could put those on my pizza if I wanted to. But food for tonight has been acquired. Hello friends. I'm in the car about to go to the Pearly Awards, the theater awards, and I guess I'm going to take you along with me. I don't know if it'll be weird to have my camera out, so if it is, I won't vlog, but I'll recap afterwards. But I also hopped on here to let you know that I finished Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone today. That book literally took me less than 48 hours to read. I thought it was so much fun. I'll do a better recap later, but just know I finished it. And I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to jump back into the God of the Woods tonight. But what a good weekend. Like, I got to hang out with my best friend, and I finished a book. We had pizza. We had ice cream last night, and now I'm going to do theater stuff. So all in all, like, A+ weekend. More sleep always could be needed, but I did it. I painted my nails, but I definitely messed them up. I'm gonna hold them back here so that you can't tell, and let's go celebrate local theater. So I didn't win, and that's okay. It was such a fun event. I got there at the like correct time and the room was already packed, so that's one thing. They also had like food and refreshments for us, and I had the best chicken salad I've ever had in my life. All of the winners were so deserving, and I was also nominated for another award that they didn't post on Facebook, which was Best Stage Manager. Didn't win. The girl who won was our stage manager for Children of Eden, and rightfully so because she did so much. But the good and the exciting news is there was also a Best Show of the Season category, and Moana Jr. won for Best Show of the Season. And if you don't know, I was involved with that show. I was the stage manager for Moana Jr. So everybody that was involved in the cast and crew, just like if it had been the Grammys or the Tonys, got to go up and accept the award and take a picture. So I'm still a winner. And even if I hadn't, it was just a really fun event, and I'm excited for the upcoming season. There is a show coming up in the fall that I do plan to audition for. I will tell you more about it as time approaches. Hey buddy, do you have anything you want to say to the people? You don't like to be on the camera very often. You just like to knock the camera over. Let me tell you also about my final thoughts on Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, because I finished that this morning. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I thought it was so much fun. I thought the self-awareness and the humor brought to the book just made it an even like more enjoyable experience. I did feel like at one point there was so much to keep up with that I couldn't track with everything. And that is something like from the very beginning. I was like, holy moly, there are a lot of characters. And I was listening to the audiobook, so like I would forget people until they were mentioned again, which is on me and not the book itself. There was just a lot to keep up with. And then as like we were discovering clues and trying to piece things together, there was also a lot to keep up with. Also, like I felt like the narrator of the story was sometimes a little bit emotionally detached to what was going on. I mean, like people that you know are dying, and that's not a spoiler, like that's the whole book. And I just felt like he was a little bit emotionally like meh away from the situation. but I still had like a super fun time with it. I think it's going to be not like a super deep book club discussion book, but it's going to be a fun book club discussion book. So that's next weekend, and I've already got that book read and out of the way. So once I get all of my food prepped for today, I'm going to lay down. I've got my Kindle stand already hooked up and read some The God of the Woods. Happy Monday morning. I'm wearing my Weapons of Math Destruction shirt today. It's gonna be a good day. I read 2 pages last night and fell asleep, by the way. Okay, bye. I'm home from work and I'm so tired. I'm about to change, make dinner, and then settle in to read some The God of the Woods. But I wanted to show you guys my new teaching shirt. It says Weapons of Math Destruction, and even the kids complimented me on it today, and it's pink. But like I said, I am exhausted, and I think I'm just gonna make like a really easy dinner tonight. I went down a TikTok rabbit hole watching Seventh Heaven recaps. So it's 8:45 and I'm just sitting down to read, and this is not how I intended for my evening to go. Guys, I'm only on page 28. It's a little bit slow going right now. I can't even lie, but I just am holding out hope that it's going to be really good. It's gonna be a good day at middle school when your coworker makes French toast casserole and you've got your coffee. We're gonna make it through today. Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. First of all, I am here to report that I read like 12 pages and promptly fell asleep. So I still am not very far into God of the Woods, and I feel like I still can't really tell you more than the setup of camp owner's daughter goes missing at summer camp in the 70s. We're following a couple point of views, but like I don't know any of them well enough to really talk more about the book. I still feel like it's a little bit slow, but that's also probably a personal problem, because when school starts back, it's not that I don't want to read, it's that I am so tired by the point that I'm able to sit down and read. So I'm at work today, and it's an interesting day. I also forgot to change my little calendar. I won this at a back to school thing. Today is August the 13th. Oh, today at school is going to be interesting because it's back to school night. So really, I don't get the opportunity to go home. We stay at work all day, and then after work, I'm going to make a quick trip to the post office and probably to Sonic to get a fancy Diet Coke, and then come back here and get ready to welcome parents into our building. And I won't leave till somewhere between 6:30 and 7. So it's going to be a long day. I did bring my Kindle, but honestly, I have a lot of stuff to do to get ready for parents. I don't know that I'm going to be able to read it all at school today. The first thing that I'm doing is grading these distance ducks, which I would love to have on display tonight. Basically, like, they answer math problems, and the math problems tell them how to draw the duck, and they just come out so quirky and cute. Like, I love them. Look at that little duck. And so the ones that got a perfect score, I'd like to hang up somewhere. I don't know where. I've got my coffee, and that French toast casserole that my neighbor over there made was so delicious. Okay, it's now Wednesday. I had another unsuccessful night of reading. I think I read 13 pages, but I'm home from my PLC, which is my professional learning community. We stay after school on Wednesdays, and we have those. We got our next unit planned. I'm about to go do my couch to 5K workout, which I started doing last week, so this is run 3 for me. I used to be a half marathoner, and we're starting back a couch to 5K, but that's okay. We have to start somewhere, even if we're starting over again. That's important to, internalize. But I'm gonna go do it on the treadmill because it's like really humid and kind of raining off and on. Then I'm gonna come home, make my dinner, and read. I need to do that. If you know the tie-dye shirt is my favorite reading shirt. We're about to read. It's 8:45. I'm gonna try and read till 10 o'clock, if not later, and get some pages in, because my goodness, my golly, I gotta get past page 100. This book's almost 500 pages. Guys, here I am on Thursday morning, and I still have to tell you, I haven't even gotten to page 100 of my book. I don't feel good today. I have a sore throat. I decided to sleep in instead of even like getting ready for the day. I'm wearing a maxi dress and a jean jacket because this is like my go-to. I still want to like dress up, but I don't want to put any effort into anything today, so that's the vibe. Fortunately, we are taking a testing class today, and these days, once we get like set up on our testing platform, because it's our first test, but these days, like, they just sit and I watch them on my classroom screen take their test to make sure nobody's cheating or getting onto other websites, and it's a much more chill day. I am doing Discord sprints tonight, which originally Discord sprints were going to be because I had somewhere I had to go tonight, but like it was going to be low key, and so I could still read where I was going, but I was going to be in the car, so I couldn't get on YouTube. But now I don't feel good, so we're still going to do Discord sprints, and I'm not going to be on camera, but I'm looking forward to sprinting tonight and actually getting some pages in and being held accountable, because I keep telling my book club friends, like, it's not a bad book. I'm just not able to read for long periods of time at all. It's one of those days that I wish I was a tea drinker, because I have my coffee to wake myself up, but like it's not doing it for me, if you know what I mean. Like, I need like that warm, like honey, herbal, but I don't like tea, and I keep trying to like tea, so maybe I'm not doing it right. I'm gonna crack open a Diet Coke when I have my kids in here, because sometimes the carbonation feels good, but I don't have a fever or anything. I just don't feel good. Like, my throat is sore and I've got drainage, so I think it's just a sinus infection. Guys, it's been a couple days and I've been a little sick. I feel like I've talked enough today that my voice is kind of loosened up. I had some honey in tea, and I've already talked about how that's not really my thing, but I'm trying so hard because I have been a coffee, congested, nasty feeling mess lately. But I do have this little cozy corner, we're gonna call it. It's a wall in my bedroom. I moved my exercise bike to the other room, and I really don't have a good spot for it, but I also really wanted a spot to read in my room that wasn't my bed. So here we are. Got my Kindle stand over here, but the reason I'm here, the reason I'm here on a Saturday is to update you, because I feel like I have finally read enough of this book to like talk about it. So it's a little bit confusing because the timeline and the POVs are all over the place. But the basic setup is that we are at a summer camp called Camp Emerson in the 70s. This camp is owned by a family named the Van Laars. The Van Laars have a daughter named Barbara, and at one point they had a son. His name was technically Paul IV, but they called him Bear. So years ago, back in the 60s, Bear went missing at this location. He was not a camper, but he went missing like on the campgrounds. And then we flash forward to the 70s. Barbara is a camper at Camp Emerson. She kind of is a little bit of a troubled child, so her parents thought she could go spend the summer at the summer camp and maybe good things, positive influences could happen to her, whatever. But she also goes missing. So that is the main like trajectory and driving force of the story, is these two kids have gone missing. But we are flashing all over the place in timelines, in backstories, in POVs. For example, one of the POVs we get is the camp counselor, who is in charge of the cabin when Barbara goes missing. She has a whole entire story going on in the book dedicated to her. We also have Bear and Barbara's mother, Alice, and she has a whole entire backstory and like trajectory in the story dedicated to her. And then we have the female detective inspector who is working on the case, and then we have a volunteer firefighter named Carl who we get a whole POV from. We've got this escaped convict that we have a POV from, but somehow it is all coming together as we search in the past for Bear and as we search in the present for Barbara. Oh, we have another POV, and it is a girl named Tracy who was Barbara's friend at camp, who was in the cabin with her and kind of idolized her. There is so much talk in this book about women's roles. It makes me so angry for the women in this book.
especially for like the female women who have married into this very rich, very prominent family. And it is so obvious that literally their only job in the eyes of their husbands and the other men in this family is to pop out a boy. And then I know the whole trend right now is so demure, but their literal job is to just sit there and be demure and not speak and not embarrass their husbands and not have an opinion on anything and only dress the way their husbands and act the way and speak the way and drink the way and eat the way their husbands want them to. It makes me so angry. So that is like a big discussion in this book. There's just a whole lot to discuss. Coming of age is a topic discussed in this book. Sexuality is a topic discussed in this book. And even though like I know the main trajectory of the book, I'm at 40% right now, and I know where it's going. We're going to figure out what happened to Barbara and Bear, but I also have no idea where like the little intricacies and like backstories and stuff in this book are going. Does that make sense? So I do have book club to discuss. Everyone in my family has killed someone tonight. 4 out of 5 of us are feeling down for the count tonight. So instead of all hanging out, we're going to have like a little nighttime pool party. But instead of doing that, we're going to do a virtual book club meeting, and we're going to discuss the book and then maybe play some like Jackbox games, which is always fun. Something else I did today, I won't show you guys right now because even though I did it, like some of the area is still a mess, but I did rearrange my bookshelves today. I just felt like being a little bit more mature in my bookshelf, and so I got rid of the rainbow color, and it is now one shelf is my fantasy shelf, well, fantasy sci-fi shelf, organized alphabetically by author's last name, and then the other shelf is every other genre organized by genre, and then within the genre by author's last name. The morning is when I feel the worst. My throat feels sore and I am like just drainagey in the morning. And then like as I get to doing stuff, I feel a little bit better, but then I go back to sleep and I wake up and I'm all drainagey again. But I'm gonna sit here and read for a couple of hours. I've got my reading fuel. I've got my little astronaut lamp. I don't know if you can see the galaxies behind me or not. And I'm gonna turn the fan on because I am in desperate need of the fan because it be hot in Mississippi. I drove my trash down to the compactor today, put my hands on the wheel, had to take them back, and then looked at the temperature in my car and it said 103. So we are all dying over here in Mississippi. Got to like page 250 almost, but now it's time for book club. What an evening. Brent brought me over some chocolate muffins. We had our book club discussion about everyone in my family has killed someone, which I think we all liked for the most part. And then we played some Jackbox games. I was using my phone during the game, so obviously I couldn't get footage of that, but quality time. Some of the games could not be repeated on YouTube, but it was a fun time. I'm gonna read a little bit more and I'm gonna go to bed. Guys, guess what? I accomplished my goal for the week, which was to read both of my in-person book club picks. Obviously, I read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone super fast at the beginning of the week, but my pace with reading this book has been very, very slow. During the work week, I was reading like 10 pages at a time and then falling asleep. But the weekend got here, and let me tell you, being able to sit down and read this book like without interruption made the biggest difference, because I was feeling like I wasn't even liking this book during the week. But then being able to devote the time to it this weekend, I really liked it. So let me give you a little bit more context on this book, because I've told you about the initial setup. We have a family who in the past, their son went missing, and then they send their daughter to summer camp 13 years later or so, and then she goes missing, and we have a whole bunch of point of views involved. But this book, like, that sounds like just a mystery setup, but it was so much more than that. It definitely leans mystery, literary mystery. There were so many quotes and passages that were so good and like poignant and relevant and but I would say like 60% on, you're just invested and you have to keep reading. You can't put it down even though the pace isn't super fast. This book is a conversation on gender, it's a conversation on class, it's a conversation of luxury versus like living on the land. It's an exploration of parenthood, of growing up, and it just has so much to say about so many things. But at the heart of it, you are invested because you want to know what happened to Bear, and you want to know what happened to Barbara, and you also want justice for all of these people involved and all of this false blame that's being thrown everywhere. It was just so good. If I can, I want to read a couple passages. So at one point during this book, there is a camp-wide dance, and the counselor, Louise, is standing on the stage, kind of just like standing back and watching all of these campers that she has seen grow up and bond over the last 2 months. Okay, it says, if she believed in God, it was in one who functioned something like Louise in this moment, rooting for her charges from afar, mourning alongside them when they were rejected, celebrating every small victory that came their way. She noticed the lonely ones, the ones at the edge of the crowd. She felt in her heart a sort of wild affection for them, wanted to go to them, to stand next to them and pull them tightly to her side, and yet she also knew that to intervene in this way would disrupt something sacred, that at 12 and 13 and 14 years old, they were learning about themselves and the world, and this too was how she thought of God. And that's just one example of some of the just very thought-provoking and relatable still writing that was in this book. If you had asked me during the week if I would have recommended this book, I probably would have said not really. But now that I'm finished with it and I just had so much time devoted to nothing but this book this weekend, I would say yes. I would say go into it with the expectations that it's not going to be a thriller or a Thursday Murder Club mystery where stuff is always happening. It's definitely when you have to sit back and absorb and appreciate that the pace is going to take you longer to get through things, but the payoff I think is worth it. There were some moments that were so heartbreaking. I didn't cry, but I got very, very close to crying at one point. And just some moments that are triumphant, and every point of view and every person that you meet in this book matters. And it's so easy to feel like they don't. It's so easy to feel like you are just being thrown name after name after name, but they are all important. Justice is important, but also listening is important. And I am very interested in her other book, Long Bright River, now. Anyway, I'll shut up about it. I read 2 book club books this week. Who knows what I'll read next week. Happy back to school for me. I finally did it, right? If you watched all the way to the end of this video, I want you to either leave me a pink heart, because the color pink is very important in this book, or you can leave me a tree for the woods. So a pink heart or a tree or both, and I will let you guys go. But as always, my social media, my Patreon, other things are linked down below if you are so curious. And I just appreciate everybody for sticking it out with me. I know it's been a while since I put up a video, but here we are. I'm literally about to end this and then sit down and edit it so I can put it up. And I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye, guys.